right, and we are live. All right, sports update. Adrian, Reid, was good?
Was good.
Right back at him. We right back at him. So yeah, jumping right into it. Wanted to start with the Tigers. So as of late, they they did get rid of Gio Urshela, one of their veterans. They're calling up some of the younger guys. Got Jace Young. Is it Jace Young or Young? Am I
Young. It's pronounced like
Young?
young, but spelled Young.
Okay. Jace Young, Dylan Dingler, Carpenter recently came off the IL. So Adrian, where you at with this Tigers team and the fact that they got all this youth called up now and they seem like they're getting some of the older guys out? What do you think the future is for this Tigers team?
I mean, it's kind of really hard to tell right now, just for the fact that they waited so long to bring these guys up. This is something we've been asking for even before the All-Star break. I mean, I'm happy they did, but I mean, you could have started the youth movement even earlier. And I like the signs, what I'm seeing from the guys. So we'll see. I mean, it's not really going to tell me a lot this year. I just need to see capability, some functionability, and these guys gotten some confidence. I think it's going to give them a lot going into next season. It doesn't do anything for this season, but just kind of helps get them together because they're so far out the wild card. They have no shot at getting in the playoff picture in the AL. But I just think it's something that should have happened months ago. But it's good they finally did now. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that they're bringing them up. You get to see the last, I think it's 40 games or something like that doesn't count towards their arbitration. So these young guys, bring them up with 35 games left or whatever it is. It doesn't count towards the contract. I like seeing the young guys. You talk about how the team old this year. They didn't have any youth. The farm system ranked 5th or whatever it was, for the MLB. So I'm happy they're bringing it up. I wanted Dingler to be up a little bit earlier, but, it makes sense because Skubal only pitches to Rogers because he likes Jake Rogers. You had Carson Kelly. He got traded away. Yeah, I think it's good seeing all these guys. Young was another guy I was high on coming up, and he's looked good. He had, 2 walks in the beginning, his first 2 at-bats, and then had a few hits. Torkelson came back. Obviously, he's still one of the young guys that you have, so he looks good. So, yeah, I'm super excited, for next year. I said to you guys earlier in the group chat, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this roster and the starting lineup next year. I just don't know who's going to be there because there's so many young guys now. I mean, we have Perez on the injured list. Green's been in and out of injuries. So, I mean, Green's obviously has a starting spot, but, you had Justin Henry Malloy, another guy I was big on. He got sent down because he can't really play left field, but, he was batting well. Parker Meadows, another guy, young, who's playing really well. So, yeah, I'm just curious to see how they're going to fit all these guys in now that they're all coming up. You expect Max Clark to be close to coming up next year, if not, the year after. So they got a bright future, but, still need to sign some veteran bats. You mentioned Kerry Carpenter. He has, 5 home runs in the last, 10 games or something crazy like that. He had 2 in that one night on his return. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it next season, obviously. You talked the whole season about how pitching was such a strong point for the Tigers, and now they are on, day 3 of a rotational pitch. So, I mean, it doesn't help that Mize isn't panning out and Reese Olson, another young arm, isn't playing because he's hurt. So you got to see. I would like to see some of the younger pitchers come up too.
So Reid, do you fully expect AJ Hinch to be back next season?
Yeah, I think after. I mean, one, you pay him so much. I don't think they're going to pay out his contract. He's good defensively. Sweeney still has time to develop. He's obviously getting rotated in and out with Javi. Javi, I think, said he was playing because it was Chicago Cubs. I wish he would have had a little better showing, but yeah, I think Hinch will be back next season. Obviously, I think he's a fine manager, and you just got to see what he does with this young talent, really.
Yeah, I think he comes back too. I think he's found a way to navigate through it. Some tough times right now. Obviously they got to figure out what they're gonna do with Javi Baez. Like you said, they got rid of Urshela, but I do think you need to kind of bring a vet in with some experience coming in next season. Spend some money a little bit, guys. I get it. We're all about the youth movement, but when we talk about sports, we talk about having some veteran guys that the younger guys can look up to. So I think he'll definitely be back for at least one more season.
Okay. David said, "Will Javi be back next season?
I hope not.
Is he? How much longer is his contract for?"
Is it one more year, Reid?
I think we were talking about it today. Is it how long is it, a 5-year deal?
I'm about to double check it. I know he had an opt out. I'm about to check.
3 for him. He's not going to opt out, obviously, because he's going to get paid. But I think this is year 3. I think he might have 2 more years.
Let's double check. Give me 1 second. I can tell you.
He's the last OG left. It seems like all the young guys are coming up now. So
yeah,
because he signed a longer contract. It wasn't like a 4-year deal. I'm pretty sure. You know how long Javi's contract?
I'm looking now. Oh shoot. Yeah, he has
a long one.
He has an opt out after this year and then 3 more years, 25, 24, 24.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if it was 5 or 6. So this is what his third. It is this end of this year will be his 3rd year, right?
Yeah. So they're gonna owe him. They're gonna owe him 70. They still owe him $73 more million after this season. So I don't know if Illich is willing to pay that.
So we're pretty much stuck with Javi for another year.
Yeah, at least.
Well, at least all the other young guys are up. So
he has a
yeah.
Sorry, guys, real quick. I'm looking at this site called SpotRag, which they give you like the contract details. He has a 10-team no trade clause, so there's 10 teams that they can't trade him to, which I don't know what they are, but
yeah. Some of the former Tigers been looking good. I seen Matt Boyd made his debut not too long ago for the Guardians. Eduardo Rodriguez been looking pretty decent for the Diamondbacks. So yeah. Hopefully, maybe they can find a landing spot or a trade partner for Javi. So.
And I do believe the Tigers do after this season pay Tarek Skubal big money.
Yeah, I think the deal might be done before that. Hopefully, he stays how he's playing, but he's got 1 more year of he has 1 more year of arbitration, and then they got to pay him.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at it now. So yeah, he's avoided it this year. So actually, yeah, 2025 he can do arbitration again, but they got to pay him now. So
yeah. So yeah, we'll see what these Tigers do, man. They got the youth movement. They got a lot of the young guys up now. So yeah, they start a 4-game series with the White Sox tomorrow. I did not check and see who's on the mound tomorrow, but yeah, start a series with the White Sox tomorrow. So all right. So yeah, I did want to get some college football in here. So yeah, let me know. I want to know you guys' picks. So I want to know who you guys think are going to be the conference winners. So Adrian, who do you got winning the Big Ten this year?
Out of the Big Ten, I'm going to take the newcomer, the Oregon Ducks, coming in. I like the roster. I think Dan Lanning's been building a powerhouse over there, almost like an SEC school. So give me Oregon Ducks.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would say for Big Ten, yeah, maybe I would say Oregon too. I think Oregon probably has a better shot of winning it all. I think that I like Dan Lanning. I like the way he's coaching the team. Obviously, when he was playing again, or when they were playing in Colorado, that was pretty cool. You know, they play for clicks, we play for wins, or whatever the quote was. But I would say Oregon. I'd say Ohio State's a real close second.
My big concern with Ohio State, I think they've loaded up everywhere, and they're on paper they're almost similar to how Michigan brought everybody back from last season. But my biggest concern is that offensive line. The left side is pretty good. The right side, solid. Let's see. They got Will Howard. He came from Kansas State, but one of the reasons he ended up transferring was because of Avery Johnson, the star quarterback they're going to have at Kansas State this year. He wasn't going to win that job this year, but I think he'll add some versatility to the offense. But it's a lot of pressure for Ohio State. I'm telling you, Ryan Day is feeling the heat if they don't have a good season this year.
So if Ryan Day loses to Michigan again this year, you think he's out of there?
That's a good question. The seat gets really hot. I don't know if I could fire him because of his record, how good he's been. This rivalry is weird. They had that stretch where they destroyed us for years. But I think the heat will be up. But I wouldn't fire him personally. But I do think there were people definitely calling for his head, especially because they spent over, I believe it was like $30 million in NIL this year. That was the reported number, like $32 million or something like that.
Something crazy up there.
Wow.
But I mean, with the 12-team playoff this year, they can lose to Michigan and still get in the playoffs. So
Yeah. But if they lose to Michigan, say they lose to Michigan, there will be certain fans who still want to call for his head. They don't care. I think if you're Ohio State, I think you have to at least get to the Final Four, if not the national title game, to say this was a successful season, especially with the roster that you have assembled.
Absolutely. So, hold on, let me get some feedback real quick. David said, "What's MSU ceiling?"
If Aiden Childs plays well, I think they can win 6 or 7 games. If you can maximize the ceiling. They paid him 9 figures. He actually had a quote today. They were asking him about the game, and he said, "If you're a bet man, take the over." So it's a video I seen earlier. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was for the first game of the season, which I'm curious to look and see. I'll look and see what that opener is, but yeah, I'd say 7 or 8. They have a really easy schedule for the most part. They're really tough in the middle of their schedule. But I would say 7 or 8 would probably be the ceiling, probably closer to the side of 7.
Let's double check them.
Yeah.
If
they get to 6, 7, or 8 wins, that's definitely a plus. And getting to a bowl game, coming off how much of a disaster last season was, that's a big step in the right direction.
They are 12-point favorites according to ESPN Bet. Because I'm looking at the ESPN app, they are 12-point favorites, and the over/under is 47.5. And FAU's coach is Tom Herman.
That's a home game for State.
Yep, next Friday at 7:00 on BTN.
Okay, that should be a winnable game for sure. So we're expecting much bigger things out of State this year. Can't be much worse than last season. Last season was a disaster. All right, so Reid,
before we move on, what did you say the over was, and what's the spread?
State minus 12, and then the over under is 47.5.
Oh, they have I guess it's FAU, but they have a better spread than Florida State does. I think Florida State's 10.5 against Georgia Tech.
It was 11.
Yes, it was 10.5. Yeah, we're gonna make our picks for that. So Reid, the SEC, they did add Texas, Oklahoma this season. So who's your favorite to win to the SEC this year?
Man, that's tough because you can't really say Alabama so much anymore. I mean, you could, but you really kind of have to be hesitant about Alabama because you don't know what what's the new head coach's name? I can't think of his name now.
Kevin DeBoer.
Yeah, Kevin DeBoer, Washington's old head coach. Yeah, I don't think you could say Alabama. Texas would probably be in there to be a favorite to win it. I would assume them or Ole Miss would probably be my two. I don't think Oklahoma's going to make much noise, but I would say probably Texas or Ole Miss. I know a lot of people are high on Ole Miss. Jackson Dart's there. Lane Kiffin, obviously. So I would lean more towards Texas, but I think Ole Miss could sneak in there.
Oh, hold on. You put Ole Miss over Georgia?
Yeah, I don't know. After no, I wouldn't. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. I completely forgot about Georgia, to be honest. I would put Georgia. I'd say Texas or Georgia, and I would give Texas a little bit of an upper hand.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of in the Reid camp a little bit. Not that I forgot about Georgia guys, but looking at their schedule, it is a gauntlet of a schedule. I think they can lose one or 2 games possibly, and it'll still be in the college ball playoff with no problems. Maybe even 3, depending on what they do. Looking at I'll read Georgia's schedule off to you real quick. Kickoff against Clemson, an Athletic Classic. Tennessee Tech, that's a win. At Kentucky, at Bama, at home against Auburn, host Mississippi State, at Texas, host Florida, at Ole Miss, at home against Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech at home. So I think their schedule's a little tougher.
At Texas and Ole Miss is interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's very interesting places to play.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna take Ole Miss. I think their schedule's a little more maintainable, a little more where they can get through. This is arguably the best Ole Miss team in 60 years. I think they've won the SEC since the 60s, even before Archie Manning was there. So I'm going with Jackson Dart and company. 3rd year in the program. They loaded up at the receiver position with Juice Wells. Trey Harris is a guy. I know they lost Judkins but they'll be just fine. They got Walter Nolan out of the portal. They loaded up, man. I think this is now or never for Lane Kiffin. This is a team who definitely attacks the portal really hard, but I'm going to take Ole Miss, which a lot of people are high on, and I am as well.
Yeah. So Adrian, how many SEC teams can you realistically see getting into the playoff?
I say 5 for me. 5 would be the max. 4 on the low end.
Yeah.
What did you say for what? Losses for who?
For the max for playoff teams in the SEC to get into the CFB, I would say 5 is the max. The low end would be 4 for me.
Wow. Yeah, I would say 4 would be the max. I still think that's kind of high, but I guess it is SEC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably say 4 on the high end, 3 on the low end.
So we'll go Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, and
maybe Oklahoma. I mean,
Alabama,
and then Alabama, and then my sleeper team is Tennessee, depending on how Nico's going to look.
Yeah. In the SEC, you could have 2-3 losses and still be in that playoff hunt for sure. Because you got losses to Georgia
with 5. I think 5 is
no, not 5.
Because what it's 3. It's 3 teams. 3 teams per conference can get in. I think 3 or 4.
Well, they don't have a
conference.
Yeah, they don't have a set number how many teams can get in.
Well, no, they don't. But I'm just saying, like, if you think about the win-loss records for teams, is what I mean. Like, if you look at, if you have, let's say, Georgia, Texas, and Ole Miss all have 3 losses, and Oklahoma has 4, I would assume Oklahoma probably wouldn't get in over some of the other teams that are going to get in throughout the country.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So, Reid, I think I might know your answer to this one, but who do you have winning the ACC?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Florida State should be able to repeat in the ACC. I mean, everybody always gives me, gruff for being a Florida State fan and then being in the ACC, and I say it every time on this pod that they've been trying to get out. The ACC won't let them leave because they won't get any revenue anymore. Leave. So, I think they'll end up winning it just because it's a weak ACC. I think they definitely make it into the college football playoff. I also think they have the best team in the ACC. I mean, the only other team that you think would maybe come close is probably Clemson, potentially Miami. But as we were talking about before, Mario Cristobal looks good on paper, and you have Cam Ward, but I still think there's some stuff missing in Miami. So yeah, I would have to say that Florida State runs away with it. I don't, do they win 13-0 again? Maybe not. I mean, their schedule is still, decently tough, but 13-0. Did I say 13 or 14? Whatever. But I don't think they'll go. They might get 1 or 2, but I still think they get in and they win the ACC championship.
Yeah. Going undefeated doesn't matter as much now that you got the 12-team playoff. You can have 1 or 2.
You would just automatically be in if you're undefeated.
Right.
Yeah, for me, I would agree with Reid. I'm taking Florida State, and so everybody thinks he's a homer, but I totally agree with them. People are down on DJU. I think he had some tough times at Clemson, but he went to Oregon State last year, had a good season. Had a running game. I think he'll do just the same at Florida State. They loaded up in the transfer portal with receivers. Tua Philly, I think, is going to have a phenomenal year at running back for them. The defense is good. The offensive line is experienced. With Miami,
Williams, the transfer from Alabama, I think is going to be the starter, and I think he's going to be the backup behind him. I think he's just going to have a way better. I think Roydell Williams is going to have a fantastic season this year.
Yeah, you guys have some depth at the position. With Miami, I think they loaded up these last couple of years, but Cristobal has to show me that he can win something of importance, and so does Miami as well. Because we've been hearing the U is back for how long, but until they show me that, I believe it. Oh, sorry.
All right, some feedback here.
Oh, God, sorry.
Can DJU win the Heisman?
We got your back, Adrian. You're good. We got your back. Oh, no, we're out.
I don't know what's going on. Hold on.
Yeah, we can hear you, Adrian.
Okay. You hearing static?
Yeah, you're good. No, you're good now. You're good now.
No, I was just saying that I'll believe it when Miami shows me something, but I'm going Florida State and Clemson. I believe it when I see it. I don't trust K Kubnik at all. I don't think he's that good.
Can DJU win Heisman? No, I don't think he'll be able to win a Heisman. I think that there's too much hype behind Shedeur. I think he'll get in there off of a name. I think Carson Beck's going to be up there. Dylan Gabriel, and then potentially that edge rusher from Tennessee if he lives up to the hype. The guy I think Cornelius Johnson, is that it? No, it might be the wide receiver. What's that? Will Johnson, is that the quarterback from Michigan?
Yeah.
I think if he has the best season in the Big Ten, I think that he might be able to sneak in. Like he probably had the Aiden had the what was it 14 sacks or something like that, and he got in. But I don't know. It's so hard for defensive players and any other player to get in. So maybe Jackson Dart could sneak in there, or Quinn Ewers. They would probably be 4 quarterbacks if I had to guess. So those would be probably my 4: Beck, Gabriel, Ewers, Dart, or who was the other one that I said? Don't remember now.
The sleeper I would throw in there is my guy. I'm a big fan of him. You guys know my boy Luther Burden, wide receiver from Missouri, University of Missouri. I think he's going to have a huge year, and hopefully he can sneak his way into that conversation. I definitely think he's going to win the Biletnikoff, but I want to see if he can get himself to New York. And Missouri could possibly be a college football playoff sleeper. So we'll see. Their schedule isn't tough as some of the other schools in the conference. And they got their quarterback back as well, and Brady Cook.
I just wish they do like cap it on quarterbacks. Just like make the top 2 quarterbacks be able to get in, and then make it.
Yeah, another sleeper guy. I wouldn't sleep on Travion Henderson, the running back for Ohio.
Oh, sounds like we lost Raj.
Oh yeah, I can hear him a little bit.
I can't hear Raj.
He sounds far, doesn't he?
I can't hear him at all.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, bear with us. Little technical difficulties today.
Oh, Raj is in the library.
Yo.
Yo.
Yeah, can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
All right, cool. Yeah, did y'all hear my sleeper for the Heisman?
Like part of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was saying don't sleep on Travion Henderson, the running back for Ohio State either. He could have went to the NFL. He came back for Ohio State's ranked top 3 most of the season. They have a strong year. He's going to score a lot of touchdowns. I wouldn't sleep on Travion Henderson either. All right, Adrian, last one here. Big 12. Who you like to win the Big 12? They did add Kansas and Utah as well. So, yeah, who you like in the Big 12?
Yeah, this is a tough conference, man. I think this is probably in college football. This is the most balanced conference. So I think whoever wins this, you really shouldn't be surprised. But I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State, man. I know most people are picking Utah, but I'm going with Oklahoma State. They have the best player in the conference, and Ollie Gordon, the running back. They returned their entire offensive line. I think they go 8 deep. They have like 3 more guys who have a ton of experience. They got some good receivers. Alan Bowman's back for what it seems like his 19th year. He was at Michigan for a year or so. But I'm going with Oklahoma State, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick with the chalk, and I'm going to go Utah. I just think that they're a very well-rounded team, and they've ran that division for the last 3 or 4 years. How long is what's the quarterback's name?
Cam Rising.
Cam Rising. My brother-in-law loves Cam Rising. He's been there for 10 years.
He's terrible.
He's gonna lead them to another championship for them. So I think that I'm gonna stick with Utah.
How old is Cam Rising? He got to be damn near 30.
Oh, Cam Rising's got to be.
He's 24.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's been 7 years. He's been in college 7 years.
He's 24. There's no shot. That's like Bo Nix.
Yeah, there's a couple guys. He's 23 or 24. I just read it.
He's 25. He's got the same birthday as me, but 4 years later.
Okay, 25, even worse.
25. I mean, DJU's pretty much.
DJU's up there.
He's 23.
23. Okay.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law just made a good point. I don't think that I think Cam Rising's living out his in Utah just for some hype and to keep playing the game because I don't think he's going pro.
No chance. He started at Texas, which is the crazy part. So,
I think Cam Rising to get drafted later rounds. It's fifth, sixth, seventh round guy. I think somebody take a shot on him.
That's crazy. DJU is 23.
Yeah. What is he? Yeah, 5 years. That would make a little more sense. But these guys are getting sixth and seventh years. It's kind of crazy to me, but
yeah, I think a lot of guys are getting COVID years too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the last year for it too, I believe.
Okay, cool. So Adrian, Nebraska, they named Dylan Raiola, Dominic Raiola's son, the true freshman, as a starting quarterback at Nebraska. So what do you think Nebraska's ceiling is this season?
I think Nebraska can win 6-7 games. I definitely believe their streak of not making a bowl game will come to a halt. Let me actually pull their schedule, but I was looking at it the other day, and it's pretty manageable. So I think.
While you look that up, let me just tell you guys what's going on over here to my left. My brother-in-law is a huge Nebraska fan, so is my father-in-law. What? They absolutely love Dylan Raiola. They are fully expecting bowl game season.
Okay.
He said Dylan Raiola is the second coming of Patrick Mahomes. So.
Whoa! Tell him relax.
Hey, he looks a lot like him. The same number in the throw motion and everything.
He does. All right. Here's their opening schedule. At home against UTEP, 3:30 game. They should win that game. Then here's where it comes. Week 2 against Coach Prime in Colorado. I think that's a 50-50 game. I think that can go either way. I definitely think Nebraska has improved from last season. Then they host.
Is that game in Colorado?
No, it's in Nebraska.
I think they win it then.
Yeah. Then they host Northern Iowa, which is a dub. Then they host Illinois, which I believe is a dub. Then they travel to Purdue, which I think can go 50-50 because Purdue sometimes play well at home. Then they host Rutgers. Travel to Indiana, and between the Rutgers and Nebraska game, that's a bye week. Then they go to Ohio State, where I think by the time they get to Ohio State, they can either be 5-1 or 6-0. So you're already off to a good start. And
I think they lose to Rutgers.
Okay, so we're looking at 5-2. 5-1, 4-2. After they go to Ohio State, then they host Nebraska, UCLA, which I think UCLA is going to be horrible. That's a win right there. Then they travel to USC, which I still believe they can go 50-50 because I believe Nebraska's defense is going to be elite. Then they host Wisconsin, and then they travel to Iowa. So I think we're looking at 6 or 7 wins here. I think it's manageable.
Man, I think that's more than that would be like 8 wins, wouldn't it? I think they can beat Iowa personally. Wisconsin might be a different story, but I think they can definitely beat Iowa.
I'm gonna go and say you can tell your brother-in-law I said that I'm gonna say they finished 7-5, and that's not bad for Matt Rule's second year, especially with a true freshman quarterback.
Yeah, Cade McNamara is a veteran quarterback. Let me see. I'm looking at Cade McNamara's age. Cade McNamara is 24 as well. 24.
Cade McNamara has apparently looked horrible in the college preseason, we'll call it.
That's what they're saying.
The spring games. That's what everybody's saying. He went like 7 for 21 or something like that with a pick, or I don't know. He looked bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It's Iowa though. Kirk Ferentz and his wide receivers coach have been suspended for 1 game each for recruiting violations and tampering with the transfer portal, whatever. I don't know the details of it, but I seen it earlier in the day, and I was like, you guys are tampering, and you guys are still horrible on offense.
Breaking news: Cade McNamara's cousin is good friends with my brother-in-law. I was just informed.
All right, so Reid, Florida State versus Georgia Tech pop off the college football season this Saturday in Ireland, noon game. Spread only 10.5 in this one. This Florida State Cup.
Yeah, I think maybe it sounds a little selfish saying it, but no, I definitely think they cover it. I think it's a little weird that it's only 10.5. I definitely think they could win by 14-17. I definitely think they have more talent than Georgia Tech, obviously. I think DJU's kind of out there to prove something. Malik Benson's out there to prove the transfer from Alabama. Jaylen Brown is a transfer from LSU, who's a wide receiver to prove. I think the whole team's out to prove something because they're all transfers that didn't play at the schools that they were at before. I'm really excited to see Patrick Payton play again. He looked unbelievable last season across from Jared Verse, and now you have Marvin Jones Jr. I know other athletes. I'm not talking about basketball or the former wide receiver, but you have Marvin Jones Jr. as the edge. I think he's going to do great. you have Cypress as the as a corner, and you have another corner whose name escapes me because I can't remember how to pronounce it for the life of me ever. Their corners, Central. No, there's one other one too. I can't think of his name. I think it's with an A, or I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But either way, I think the defense is going to be solid, man. I think people are looking at the offense with DJU. I think the defense is going to really surprise a lot of people. I think it's going to be a team that's going to be able to compete with a lot of schools like SEC teams and even some of these Big Ten teams, because I think that their corners are locked down. I think that their D line is pretty ferocious. So, I think 14 to 17 points is probably more realistic. I would say 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So 10.5, obviously Vegas knows everybody else, but I like them by 14.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that. I'll go Florida State wins 27-14. So they do cover it, but we already covered Florida State. The problem with Georgia Tech is I believe Brinke's done an amazing job with the Georgia Tech team. They're doing really well on the recruiting trail as well. They landed a 5-star offensive lineman, so they're spending that NIL money. But Haynes King, a former transfer from Texas A&M, I just can't get with the guy. He throws too many interceptions, fumbles the ball too much, and I think he will be the reason Georgia Tech loses this game. Florida State forces a couple turnovers and gets good field position, and they run the ball down Georgia Tech's throat.
Yeah, clean sweeper. I agree with both of you guys. Florida State, I think, is just a much better team. They got a point to prove that the ACC is going to be theirs to take. I think DJU has a big game, and I think they covered at 10.5. I think that spread is a little low. I think it should have been at like 2 touchdowns or something like that. So, give me Florida State those 10.5 points.
Yeah, Haynes King threw 15 interceptions last season.
Just a little bit of breaking news. Creed Humphrey just signed a 4-year, $72 million deal, including $50 million guaranteed. He's now the highest paid center in the NFL.
Woo!
Second best, highest paid.
You said who is that?
Creed Humphrey, the center for the Chiefs.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, well, yeah. Talking about the Chiefs, let's switch over to the NFL. So, Adrian, your Steelers will be in town here. I know you'll be at the game. So,
I will.
What are you expecting to see from the Steelers in the offense this Saturday and the quarterback situation?
I really would. My main thing is I know Broderick Jones had a bad game last week against the Buffalo. The offensive line didn't look great, but specifically him. But the problem is they need to move him to left tackle where he needs to be. We drafted him to be a left tackle, and for whatever reason, we keep playing him at right tackle, having Dan Moore at left tackle. Which I've talked to you guys about this. Dan Moore is not good. Move him to the bench. I know Troy Fautano, the right tackle we drafted, he's injured right now. He should be back shortly here. But put Broderick at left, see what he can do. And the main thing is get some rhythm in this game, get some consistency, and be a little aggressive on offense right now. Russ really hasn't had to do anything, especially those 5 series last week. First team offense hasn't generated any first downs. Honestly, I wouldn't play Najee Harris if it was me because Jalen Warren's already banged up with the hamstring. So play some of these young guys, keep Najee healthy and ready for week 1. Like I said, I just want to see some continuity and look like they're not giving up pressure. Let Russ throw our play action a little bit and just have some continuity, man. That's the main thing. I'm not going to over panic like everybody has this week. We got a lot of stuff to work on, and I know the offenses can't get any worse than what it's looked like the last couple of years with Kenny Pickett at the helm. So I just want to see Russ get in there, get some consistency, get a couple first downs. May not have to score a touchdown, but put at least a field goal on the board. Let's look like we're competent over here right now. We went out and hired Arthur Smith, so I just need to see something competent, something that's going to look positive going into week 1.
I will comment first. Earl Little Jr. was one of them that I was thinking of that I couldn't, and then Azari Thomas was the other DB for Florida State I couldn't remember. But another side note, Anthony Richardson has thrown a pick 6 and he just fumbled the ball. Not looking amazingly hot, but yeah, for the Steelers, like I said to Adrian, line looks young. They shifted that one guy they drafted last year on the line right to a different position, I believe.
Yeah. And I forgot that Nate Herbig was supposed to be the starting center for now, but that thrust our second round pick Zach Frazier into starting center, which I wanted from all along. So I think that's a good sign because I've liked what I've seen from him thus far.
Yeah, and so I mean, like Adrian said, I think that they're still kind of in a QB battle. I think Russ has the edge just because of him being a veteran, and he might be a little bit more what they're looking for. Adrian said it best: stop trying to like your Seattle Russ. You can't do that anymore. So I think Justin Fields ultimately should have. Well, we'll see at the end of preseason, but I think after like week 2, he'll probably secure the job. That O-line's young. They just need to figure out the symmetry in the O-line and the cohesion. But, with Arthur Smith and Najee running, I think it's going to look great. Tomorrow, I'm really looking to see what Justin Fields is going to do. I would like to see Justin Fields actually – I'd like to see Russ do like the first quarter with the starters and then Justin Fields do the second. Obviously, I don't think they'll do that. They'll probably run Russ for the first half and Fields for the second. I'd like to see Justin Fields – get a run at this with the full starting unit, but we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, Justin Fields has a lot of playing experience at Ford Field, so it should be a field he's comfortable playing at. So Adrian, you think you fully expect the Steelers to make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, that's my expectation of how I'm looking at it. The like we talked about with the schedules earlier this year, the front of that schedule is super manageable, so you have to do very well early in the season, and then that back half is a monster of a schedule. We play all our division games after November, got them back half games: Chiefs on Christmas Day, the Eagles, the Ravens. So we got to come prepared early in the season. So it's important that they get off to a very good start. But I think this offensive line gets better as the season goes on. And like Reid talked about, I think if Russ plays bad the first couple weeks, they say, Justin Fields, here's your job, because it was kind of already closer than we thought. But I think knowing Mike Tomlin in the way I think I do, I think he goes with the veteran guy. And the biggest problem with Russ is he always tries to improvise. But Arthur Smith's offense is not based on improvisation. So we gotta come out swinging, man, and be good. Especially week 1, we travel to Atlanta with an Atlanta team who's much improved defensively. We'll talk about that later in the next coming up weeks, but Atlanta's loaded up with Justin Simmons, signing him, comparing him with Jesse Bates, getting Judon from the Patriots. You gotta be ready, man. Gotta be ready. I think Mike Tomlin will find a way to get them ready. But regardless if Russell Wilson starts week 1, I still think Justin Fields finds a way to get some snaps in that game, regardless.
David said, "What happened to Mason Rudolph?"
Hey, Dave, he signed with the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis is back up.
They don't got Tannehill no more?
No, Tannehill's a free agent.
Yeah, free agent. That's everyone on the line should try and sign Tannehill.
What is he, 37?
He's older. I want to see – I don't want to see any of Sudfeld tomorrow. I know he's going to start. I don't want to see any of Sudfeld tomorrow. I want to see Hendon Hooker in the first half, but – I know I'm not going to do that. They were talking about it. Dan Campbell had a quote and said Sudfeld has an edge over Hendon Hooker, which is a scary thought because Sudfeld looks terrible and Hendon Hooker has actually looked pretty decent. But I would like to see Hendon Hooker play against, if they're not going to start Goff, I would assume they're probably going to have the starters out the first half. But I would like to see Hendon Hooker at least have a start earlier than Sudfeld. Might see Fromm tomorrow too. A little bit of Jake Fromm.
I'm just a little worried.
Old Georgia hopeful.
I'm just a little worried. If Hendon Hooker can't beat out Nate Sudfeld as a backup quarterback, that's a little concerning for me. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. So Reid, what else are you looking to see in that Lions game tomorrow?
For the Lions?
Yeah.
For the Lions tomorrow, I want to see. Again, I want to see Hendon Hooker. Defense, I want to see. I would like to see Terrion Arnold again. I know that he had the injury to his chest, but I don't know if they're going to let him play. Gibbs definitely isn't going to play, but I would like to see him. I would like to see Terrion Arnold. I would like to see Rakestraw go up against starters. I would like to see a little bit of Leonzer because he's been having high praise. DJ Reader's obviously not going to play because he's still fighting off an injury. I don't even want to see a Lee McNeil play, but I want to see Levi play. I want to see, again, the 2 corners. Who else do I want to see out there? I don't really see any of Brian Branch.
Nope.
I think Hooker and the 2 corners are really the only 2 things that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And I want to see them play against a starting unit. I know that they played that first preseason game, but I'm not too interested in that. I'm interested in this game because this is when starters play for most teams, at least for a half or a quarter. So, yeah, give me the two corners. The ones I'm most excited to see.
I'm agreed. I'm glad Panay Sewell's okay. I know that everybody freaked out yesterday when he went down in practice with a possible foot injury, but it's just a slight sprain, so nothing major. So that's a good sign for them. So keep as many of those guys out as you can. Gibbs is already dealing with the hamstring. We talked about Reader. Just get these guys ready for week 1.
I'm excited that you brought that up because I was working the training camp that day, and I was standing there, and my coworker was standing across from me. So he had his back to Sewell, and Sewell was walking over towards us, and I said to him, I go, "Oh no, this doesn't look this. Why is Sewell coming off limping?" And he around sees it. He had his shoe untied, and he was walking, and I go, if if it was something serious with his ankle or his foot or anything like that, they would have brought a card out or something like that. It would have been something that wasn't, it would have been more serious. So he was walking and he was talking to the trainer, and he said he went like this, and we thought it might have been a Liz Frank for the foot, but that's obviously not what it was. And I just said to my coworker, I go, I bet you he just had a bad roll on it. He just got caught up or something, had a bad roll on it. And then it was funny because we talked to while we were there, we talked to Dave Burkett, and he was kind of giving his he was kind of giving hints about it, and he's don't take his gospel, but what I saw and this and that, and so luckily it came out just a sprain, so it was fine. But it was a cool experience to see him, walking over and being like, I think it's nothing too serious, because if it was, he would have been carted off, and he wasn't. So I'm happy about it.
Good son.
Yeah, hopefully everybody's healthy because they got a big season opener. That's Sunday Night Football against the Rams, right?
Yes, they do.
Absolutely, yep.
And that's a fun fact, guys. That's my dad's team. He's been a fan since the 70s, so that'll be a real important game for him.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope your dad likes the old Rams uniforms, not these new ones. The old ones are the Steven Jackson Rams uniforms are so unbelievable.
Yeah.
From, come on now, Reid.
Hey, Jake Fromm and what's funny? Jake Fromm and Hendon Hooker were in the same recruiting class coming out of high school, and Fromm's been in the league for 5 years. Hooker this on you too, so I don't know. It'll be interesting. It was a great QB1 season. Loved it.
Yeah. So most of the teams announced their starting quarterbacks now. All the rookie quarterbacks are going to be starting except for Michael Penix. So Adrian, how do you feel about this new wave of rookies that's coming into the NFL?
My thing is you gotta learn by fire at this point. Depending on the situation. I think if you're gonna start a rookie quarterback, the most important thing is to surround him with veteran guys and weapons around him that's gonna help supplement him until he gets his feet wet. Like same thing Chicago's done with Caleb Williams, getting him a competent offensive line, adding Swift, getting Keenan Allen, getting Odunze, Cole Kmet, just adding weapons. Look what Washington's did. They did a weird move today, trading Jahan Dotson, which signals to me that maybe Brandon
Lions
Ayuk
should have got him.
Yeah, that signals maybe Brandon Ayuk comes to the Commanders. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I just think the most important thing is surround these rookies with guys who are going to help them out, especially a good tight end and a good running game until they, like I said, can get the confidence in them to take the keys and let them drive as fast as they want to. So.
I didn't even think about that, them trading Jahan Dotson for maybe opening up space for Ayuk. That's actually a smart thought. I never thought of that. Yeah, I definitely think that starting these rookies is crazy because, you had that stretch of once Mahomes was there, it was like, sit him behind a guy and let him wait and play. It's all about letting guys sit and wait for a time at the time when that was the whole thing. But now, they're just starting their rookies. Maybe it almost feels like college is just more pro ready now. I know it doesn't seem like that since it was so, such a short time ago. Mahomes hasn't even been in the league that long. I think these rookies are actually going to surprise people. I think they're going to play a lot better than people think. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be great. I think, hang on, okay. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be great. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a problem for the NFC North, as much as I hate to admit it. I hope he's not, but I think he's looked good. And I think that Bo Nix is going to surprise people too with Sean Payton, not Peyton Manning. Sean Payton. I don't think he's going to be Drew Brees necessarily, but I think that he's going to be a solid quarterback for Denver. at least for the time being. I still like Zach Wilson too. I don't think he's going to take a job, but I think that these rookie quarterbacks are going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't really understand that Jahan Dotson move. They traded him inside the division, helping Philly out, and then taking away a receiver from your young quarterback you just named the starter. I didn't really understand that move by the Commanders.
I'm telling you.
They drafted McCaffrey's brother. I know that you're not hoping, you don't think that he's going to be anything great, but you drafted McCaffrey's brother. You have Terry McLaurin still there. You got a bad O-line, but you, like Adrian said, I think that's perfect. You're clear. You don't have to pay Jahan Dotson now because he was a first or second round pick.
Yeah, first round.
Yeah, he was a first round pick, so you don't have to pay all that money. You get the money off from his rookie contract. You open up space, and you're the Commanders who potentially could have a top, 5 to 7 pick. I wouldn't trade a first round pick for Brandon Ayuk, regardless. But you have that 7 to 10 pick, and in the back end in the second round is an early second round pick. You could offer that to 49ers with that pick you got from the Eagles and one of your other picks. So. That makes the smartest move, but I didn't understand trading on Dotson either.
I'm telling you guys, it's got to happen. I mean, if this franchise is not the same Commanders franchise that we once knew, it makes the most sense. Like I said, Ayuk and Daniels played in Arizona State together, so I know that's a place he's been rumored to go either there or my Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think it's got to happen. So. It makes the most sense, man. It does, unless they really just didn't want to pay Dotson coming up in the next year or so, because they're already paying Scary Terry. But I don't know. They got to give Jaden Daniels as many weapons as possible for him to be successful.
Yeah, I think whoever Ayuk goes to, he's looking to get that money, and I don't know if the Steelers are going to necessarily write that check for him. I think the Commanders would, so I think the Commanders is a little more realistic.
And I know Adrian's a Steelers fan. If I was a Steelers fan, I would not want Ayuk on my team. I think George Pickens is fine. I think you obviously do because he's a good talent, but I think George Pickens is fine. I think Roman Wilson can etch out his spot as the wide receiver too. I think you have something there. I just wouldn't want to, because again, you're gonna have to trade all these assets for him, and then you have to pay him $32 million a year, somewhere around there.
Yeah, correct.
I think teams are waiting for what CeeDee Lamb's gonna get and what Jamar Chase is gonna get to pay him.
They said Jamar Chase is asking for in the range of closer to $40 million. So things are getting very interesting in Cincinnati. I believe he holds the leverage in that situation. The same thing with CeeDee Lamb. I think both those teams are handicapped, and they're gonna have to pay these guys eventually. I think Dallas has definitely put themselves in a spot so where they're kind of screwed because when CeeDee Lamb doesn't play, who else is gonna get the ball for Dallas? There's nobody else on that team I'm afraid of. And they signed the dead body of Zeke Elliott at running back, so it's only making Dak's case worse. But unless Jerry's really trying to prove a point to say Dak's not that good without CD, so I don't have to pay him. But I mean, what other decisions are you going to do unless you're Dallas? You fall from the bottom, and we know Jerry's not going to do that. So pay the guys or just trade them. I mean,
yeah, Ayuk would be a better fit with San Francisco, so he thinks he should stay in San Fran. It's just a matter of does San Fran want to cut the check or not?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm not mad at Brandon for wanting to get his bag, man. Get paid, man. You had 2 good years. Then you was all pro this year. Go get your money, man. But also you got to realize if you want to get paid, you got to sacrifice a little bit. So, do you want to win a Super Bowl that bad, or do you want to get paid? I mean, it's you can stay in San Francisco. I think this is the 49ers last year for the window to really be open, and I think everything falls out from the bottom after this because we forget that Trent Williams is holding out right now. Arguably still the best left tackle in the league right now. And he's 36 years old, I believe. And I watched the preseason game last week against the Saints, and my gosh, the offensive line's not good.
Brock Purdy looked horrible.
Bad.
Yeah, first and last thing I'll say on this is I think, he'd be a good fit with San Francisco just because he's familiar. But like Adrian just said, you have too much on the books with having to pay Trent Williams if he ever gets paid. You have to pay Ayuk. You have George Kittle. You have Warner. You have Greenlaw. You have all these guys on your team that you have to pay. So at some point, the cap, we always say, is not real, but at certain times it is, especially during the regular season. When you're signing guys, it's different, but I think that they're trying to get whatever they can for him at this point because they drafted Pearsall, traded up to draft Pearsall. So I think they're going to try and get as much as they can out of Ayuk. I don't think they want to re-sign him.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we'll see what happens with these wide receiver sagas. Brandon Ayuk's, the CD Lambs, and the Jamar Chase. We'll see how it all unfolds. All right, so yeah, I did want to close it out with our bold predictions, our NFL bold predictions. So I'll go ahead, start it off. I got 3 bold predictions. First bold prediction for the NFL: the New England Patriots are going to have the first pick in next year's draft. They're going to finish with the worst record. I know a lot of people think it's going to be the Panthers, but me personally, I think it's going to be the Patriots. Rookie coach, rookie quarterback. The roster just not that good. The Patriots will have the first pick in next year's draft. My next bold pick is I think the Buffalo Bills are going to miss the playoffs this year. Okay. I got the Buffalo Bills missing the playoffs. Out of that division, I got the Jets and the Dolphins getting in the playoffs. I think the Bills just missed it. And my last one, I don't know if this is bold or not, but I got the Jets winning the AFC East. I got the Jets winning the AFC East this year. I think Aaron Rodgers has a good, strong season this year. They're plus 155 to win that division. I like that bet. I'm probably going to lock something in on that. And those are my 3 bold predictions. Where you at with it, Reid?
You want my response on yours, or you want my bold predictions?
Yeah, let me get a response on those before you get yours.
It's going to tie into one of mine. I don't think the Dolphins are going to make any noise this year. So I think the Bills will make the playoffs. I still think the Bills can be a competent team. I think that they still are a solid team. I think that Miami has too many injuries, so I definitely think that the Bills will make the playoffs. I'm sorry. Jets could win it, so I agree with that one. And then remind me on the third one. I'm sorry. What was your other one that you had?
I got the Patriots with the first pick.
Oh yeah, the Patriots with the first pick. I don't think. Yeah, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. I mean, they still have Jacoby Brissett. I don't know. I think they'll still win at least 5 games, and I think that can keep them out of the first spot. I think a team probably be close to, again, going to another bold prediction of mine. I don't think it's going to be the Panthers. I think it's going to be the New York Giants are going to get the first overall pick. I think that they're not going to be good enough to hold out their division. I don't think they're going to be good enough to hold out against anybody else. So, I don't know. I think the Patriots are going to find some way to squeak out, 5-6 wins. So I wouldn't totally throw them in there for the first overall pick.
Yeah, I agree. I'm agreeing with everything Reid said. Nothing I can really complain about. The Jets, I can see them winning the East. It's about time. As long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I can see him doing it. But Buffalo's still going to be good with Josh Allen. He's the best player in that division, so that's going to be a tough one. But all in all, I like the takes. It's nothing too crazy. The Patriots, I could definitely see them getting the number 1 pick because I don't think they're going to play Drake May at all this year. Jacoby Brissett hasn't been in the preseason. They don't have anything. When I talked about earlier, we talked about surrounding the rookie quarterbacks with weapons. There's nothing there. The cabinet is bare there. If you put him in, you're going to set him up for failure this season.
So you think Jacoby Brissett plays all 17 games?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm gonna let Reid go with his bold takes. I want to go last.
Okay. I said the 2 of mine. I don't think that the Dolphins are going to make it into the playoffs. I think they had 2 injuries at the end of the season. I think a lot of those. I mean, they had 2 ACL injuries, one on Bradley Chubb and one on the other defensive end they had. So I don't know. You're literally with Tua. He's made of glass at this point. His brain is surrounded by bubble wrap. So I think if you get that one guy who sneaks through and gets that low tackle on his legs or something like that, and Tua can get concussed at any point. So I just don't think the Miami Dolphins are going to make any noise in that division. I think the Bills are still strong. I think, can't give up on Josh Allen, and I think Aaron Rodgers, as long as he stays healthy, you can't give up on him. He still looks great. The other one was, again, I think the Giants are going to get the first overall pick. I think they'll go for some sort of quarterback, whether it's Shadur or I think the media would obviously like Shadur or Carson Beck.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that they're kind of set up for that part of. I think they're just set up for that point. I think that it's going to be one of those two guys. And my other bold prediction is that the Arizona Cardinals will make the playoffs. Kyler Murray is going to be held. Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride was a solid tight end at the end of the season for them. I think that they could have a good all around team at the end of it, and I think Kyler could come back and surprise people. You know, they drafted him for a reason, Heisman Trophy winner in college. I just think that Arizona, and I don't think Seahawks are going to make any noise. And you know, the Rams, it could be them and the Rams. The Rams they're literally 2 injuries away from not making the playoffs. Stafford and Kupp go down, then they're not going to make the playoffs. So I definitely think that the Cardinals could make the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
the Falcons will make the playoffs.
That's not a bold take, Ish. I expect them to make the playoffs. They should have won a division last year, but as we all know, Desmond Ridder was a complete dumpster fire last year, so they almost made the playoffs with him. With that being said,
it says bold prediction that the Las Vegas will be led to the playoffs by Gardner Minshew.
Wow, that leads right into one of my bold predictions. Has something to do with the Raiders. So I'll jump into mine real quick, guys. I got 3. Jordan Love wins the NFL MVP. On a complete tear to end the season last year. They went to Dallas, destroyed Dallas. They had a chance to win that San Francisco game, and they kind of blew it. I believe the Packers had this crazy luck where they've had Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, now possibly the Jordan Love, he can turn into a star. And my second pick is you just kind of mentioned them earlier, Raj, but the Colts won the AFC South. I believe they'll shock the world. Anthony Richardson, I believe, is going to have a monster year. I like the weapons they added in AD Mitchell. Jonathan Taylor he's back and really, really healthy, ready to go. That defense is really good. And then my last prediction is the Raiders. Should the Raiders make the playoffs? I believe the Raiders spiral, and they trade Devontae Adams to the New York Jets.
On that, you said Jordan Love winning MVP. So do you have the Packers winning the NFC North?
I'm 50-50. I'm going to give them the slight edge on it, but I mean, it could go either way. I think both of them in the Lions are making the playoffs, so I just kind of think it's a little bit of luck, roll of the dice to see who's healthier at that point in time in the season.
I'm already going to put a future on CJ Stroud win MVP, so you guys know how I felt about him last season. I'll give my opinion on Adrian's, and then because we didn't really go over mine, but we can go back to it. But Adrian's, Jordan Love could. He looked good at the end. He's in the first part of the season. Obviously, it was probably just him getting used to it. He played 20 games in the last 2 years. So, it's definitely up there. He looked good. The wide receiver group is it all depends on, does Dobbs stay where he is? I mean, he loves Jaden Reed. Does Christian Watson stay healthy? Josh Jacobs stay healthy after his contract year? The O-line, you lost Bakhtiari. The O-line can still be a little iffy, but Jordan Love can make plays with his legs. So, it's not completely out of the realm of possibilities. I think it could be one of Stroud, Love, Mahomes. That I think all 3 of those guys have a shot to win MVP. The Raiders, the Raiders are a coin toss, man. I don't think that they would win a Super Bowl, obviously, because Gardner Minshew, and I love Gardner Minshew, but Aiden O'Connell too. The defense looks good, but your offensive weapons are just Devontae Adams, and that's it. I guess you have Jacoby Myers, who played well, but I just don't trust that team, too much. So I would definitely agree with them spiraling. And then, there was one more. I forgot the third one.
The Raiders trading
Devontae Adams to the Jets.
Was the Colts winning the AFC South?
Yep.
Wasn't that the bold prediction?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I could see it. They have what? The Titans,
Jags.
Who else is in the division? Jags.
Texans
and Titans.
Texans. No, well, that is bold because I think the Texans could probably win that because I think the defense is improved. They got Danielle Hunter. You have Will Anderson, Derek Stingley. Your offense is Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, CJ Stroud. I mean, it's bold. Anthony Richardson has to have a great season. If they win that division, Anthony Richardson would have to be up there for MVP talks if that's the case, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the Texans are a favorite to win that division, but really, I feel as though the AFC South is really up for grabs. It's anybody's division.
Yeah, I just look at it more as, can the Texans handle the pressure, and that schedule is going to be a lot tougher. So can they live up to the hype? Everybody's seen CJ Stroud on tape. They seen that team on tape. Can they overcome some adversity and prove they can be a consistently good team? That's my only question with the Texans, because everybody's going to be super high on them this year. So everybody's going to be coming for you instead of you coming for everybody else. So that's going to be the next step in the development of CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans.
Lions got them on Sunday Night Football this year, so that should be a good one.
Sure.
All right, well, yeah, that was all I had. Anything else you guys want to add before we get up out of here?
I'm happy it's week 0.
You want to react to my bowl predictions? Let's see how it is.
Oh,
yeah, we can go. We can move on. Keep going.
We can react to it.
It was Dolphins not making the playoffs, Cardinals make the playoffs, and then the other one was, and I forgot my third one.
The NFC West, I don't got the Cardinals getting the play. I got the Rams and the Niners getting in out the NFC West. I think the Rams are going to make more noise than what people think this season.
I agree with that take. And as far as the Dolphins,
the reason go ahead. Sorry, Adrian. Keep going.
The Dolphins, I think they make the playoffs. They have way too much talent not to make the playoffs. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. But I think they get off to a good enough start, because they always start off hot, and then when it gets cold, they kind of fade a little bit. Actually, go ahead and say what you're gonna say. I want to look up their full schedule.
Mine was a lot of injury related bold predictions, really, because I said the Dolphins wouldn't make it because they didn't have the two. Obviously, edge rushers, because Bradley Chubb is out, and the other guy, Jalen Phillips, is that his name? Jalen Phillips. They both tore their ACLs, I believe. So they're both injured. One sack away from getting a concussion. So that's the reason that I don't think they'll make it. And then the Cardinals was because the Rams, Stafford, he's already battling injuries in his preseason, and then you have Cooper Kupp to go down at any point. So your backup's Jimmy G, who's, brought San Francisco to a bowl. That was San Francisco led by Kyle Shanahan. So I'm just not scared of the Seahawks, and I just think if the Rams, you don't really get themselves into a sticky situation, the Cardinals could surprise people. And then again, I'm still trying to think of the third one. I didn't write them down because I thought I would remember them, and I just don't remember the third one.
I think, here real quick, I'll read the Dolphins first. 6 games off the schedule. I believe the schedule sets them up to be 5-1, 6-0 possibly. With the schedule, they host the Jaguars opening kickoff, and then they got a quick turnaround, host the Buffalo Bills, and I think that game could go either way because it's in Miami, it's hot out. Travel to Seattle, and they host the Titans. They travel to New England, and they host the Colts, but they host the Colts. They go to the Colts after a bye week. So I believe they can go 4-2, 5-1, maybe possibly 6-0 in that span. I believe it sets up early for them because they can attack the schedule. So then they play the Cardinals the week after the Colts. So I believe this is a manageable schedule for the Dolphins. So, it could go either way.
Great. Let's see. This is... Yes, Dolphins are on the decline, so are the Bills. So, yeah, I think they should agree with me. My bold prediction, I said the Bills won't make it this year. I think they'll win 9 games and be just on the outside looking in. All right, and then Ish right here says Jordan Love is quickly becoming overrated. He had a kind of good second half of last season.
That's a fair point.
I don't know if he's becoming overrated. I just think that he's becoming rated, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think if
my other bold prediction. Sorry, boys. Oh, Adrian, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I agree. A lot of people feel that way, but I believe he is the real deal. I like what I've seen from him. The Packers have done a great job of surrounding him with a bunch of talent. There's no superstar receiver on that team, but there's really, really good 4 receivers they have, 2 good tight ends, and you guys know their offensive line is always good. They signed Josh Jacobs. The defense is gonna be good, so I don't think so. I think he's going to show everybody that he's just got to do it one more year, and then people will stop talking about how overrated they think he is.
My last bold prediction was the Giants getting the first overall pick.
I can see that. Daniel Jones is dumpster fire.
Yeah, I can see the Giants and the Patriots fighting for that number 1 pick. I think that's fair.
The better question is, two guys, before we get out of here, I had a question I seen somebody asked a couple days ago. Who has the better rookie season, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors?
Marvin Harrison, because I think Kyler Murray is more of a competent quarterback. And I think he's just going to get fed passes.
Yeah, agreed. The quarterback play is going to be much better in Arizona, so Marvin Harrison Jr. for sure.
I just hope Malik Neighbors, I think he's going to be really good. I hope it's not an Odell Beckham situation where the team is just not good and they just don't give him any help, because we've seen how that played out.
I think with Marvin Harrison, also, like, if Kyler Murray gets under duress, he's able to get out and make a throw. Daniel Jones out panics and runs. Kyler Murray still runs, but he can also get out and throw the ball too. So,
yeah,
I would definitely say Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky for Malik Neighbors. They'll probably be drafting somebody next year. He might be having Shador or Carson Becker, one of those guys. So he'll be on the upside here soon. So he'll be all right. All right, last question, Adrian. Who would you rather have, Dak Prescott or Geno Smith?
You said Dak Prescott or who?
Or Geno Smith.
Oh, Dak, easily.
Dak. I can't stand Geno. One good year, and everybody wanted to put him at MVP.
All right, Reid, Daniel Jones or Geno Smith?
Who?
Ooh.
Daniel Jones or Geno Smith?
I can't say Geno because I just Geno, so I can't take Geno. I'll go the opposite way.
I'm going.
I'm right there with you, Raaj. I agree.
All right, well, yeah, there it is. Anything else you guys want to add before we get up out of here?
No, man. It feels good. We actually got to talk about some football. Like we see some college football. I know it's week 0, it's 4 games on, so I'll be watching like a degenerate, and then next week, baby, we really get to kick it off, so I'm excited.
I did have one thing I wanted to ask you guys. Since, I mean, Raaj hasn't really been watching, but Adrian has. How do you feel about the kickoff rule? You like it or you don't like it?
I'm kind of indifferent with it right now. I don't really know how to feel about it yet. I really want to wait till regular season till I see starters and guys who are going to be on the roster consistently. I think it gives advantage more so to the receiving team than the kickoff team, because that guy can build momentum. He can find his blockers easy and set it up. So I think right now, it definitely benefits the receiving team more than the kicking team. So, but it does take some injuries out the game. But I'm kind of still a little indifferent about it. I want to watch it a couple more weeks.
Raaj?
I mean, I personally don't like it, but I don't like it just because it's just so new, it's so fresh. Like, I think once I get accustomed to it and see it a little more, I probably like it a little better. So I'm just so used to the old kickoff, seeing the old kickoff rule. It's just that's just imprinted in my brain. So once I get used to it, it'll be all right.
Well, something that I'm surprised about it, and I know that it's preseason, but you haven't seen anybody return the ball all of preseason, which you thought would probably happen a lot more. Some guys have broke off some like 70-yard return, something like that, but I haven't seen that many people return it. So return it for touchdowns. So I think it's interesting in that sense. And again, I think it does benefit the receiving team a little bit more. I don't hate it as of right now. Again, I'm interested to see what's going to happen when it's like full-on starters going for it. But as of right now, I don't hate it. I'm kind of indifferent about it. But if it would have been like 6 kick returns in the preseason, I would have been like, get rid of this. But as of right now, it's been okay.
Sure. All right. Well, there it is. Well, Adrian's going to be at the Steelers game Saturday. Reid, I think you would just be watching it on TV.
You got to watch his Florida State boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're going to check those Florida State boys out Saturday playing in Ireland. And, we'll be here next week to recap all of that. So, yeah. Good show, fellas.
Great show, fellas.
Yes, sir. Make sure everybody watching, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.